Yeah, I just, obviously a great job by us today. I felt like we were efficient in all aspects of the game. I thought offensively, we again did a tremendous job of making sure that we were hunting pitches over the plate. We stuck to our plan, and then I felt like we pounded the zone like we needed to. So overall, pleased.
Hey, Amari, touching on what Coach said, you didn't have any problem, but how hard is it today when they're not throwing a lot of strikes? I mean, and sometimes that can be tough on a hitter, but it wasn't on you. But could you talk about, Coach always talks about hunting pitches. Could you talk about that process maybe a little tougher today with their pitchers?
Yeah, I think with a team like this, they're trying to get ahead in some ways, so maybe looking earlier in the count, and then obviously later in the counts, they're probably going to waste a few pitches, and that's why we drew a lot of walks and stuff later. But I think just looking early and attacking those and not trying to get behind in counts and feeling like we have to swing at some pitches. But I think overall, just looking early and staying patient throughout the whole count.
Also for Amari, I know yesterday Coach kind of talked about your versatility in the field, but do you feel like it was a good demonstration of your versatility on offense with the home run, some walks, some different things you can do on offense?
Yeah, I think I've never been a home run hitter. That's kind of something that just popped out randomly this year. So it's something new that I can do. Obviously, all the time I'm just trying to get on base and get them in, get them over. So I think that mentality has just helped me move through the box.
And Coach, just on her versatility on offense and everything she can do both there and defensively.
Yeah, Amari has really been the glue of our program. We've been able to make a lot of changes with our team because of Amari's unselfishness, but also her ability to play a multitude of positions. She's just tremendous, and obviously, I think she's what you would call a true utility. She definitely plays a multitude of positions. She plays right, second base, first base, and she does it without any hiccups. I thought it was a great play today when KK went into the 5-6 hole. Amari was there. It's been a while since Amari's taken some reps at second base, so there's a lot of pre-pitch that goes into that she has to be able to execute. And I just, just really proud of her and just thankful to have somebody like her on your team because you don't have a lot of players like her that can play just a lot of different positions, and it gives you some flexibility as a coach.
Coach, can you talk about just the pitching performances from Sydney today? Obviously, Sydney Peters' first appearance since, I think, March 21st. Just what you see from her, and then obviously a combined no-hitter, limiting the walks. Just what you see from your pitchers today?
Yeah, S squared was in full effect today. So, I thought Lessentine did a great job. She's working on some things, and that's what I'm really proud of her about is I've tweaked a couple of things with her in the last couple of weeks, and she's had to play at a very high level as I'm still tweaking her, and she's just handled it like a champ, and just proud of her. And I thought today she did a really good job. I felt like she hit some quadrants of the zone that we haven't hit consistently, and her changeup looked really good. It was back to its normal self. So, this kid can spin the ball. She's gonna be very, very special here. So I'm just excited, to kind of see her continue to develop even in May. Peters, I think we all were just, really happy for Peters. Today, she was like a little kid, like she was playing her first T-ball game. So the whole bench, I think the whole pitching staff will tell you, we're really happy for her to get out there again and compete. I mean, that's what all of they want to do is get out there and compete and help Texas A&M softball win softball games. So.
Coach, how does it feel to be able to get so many younger players into this game, and especially so it is, the NCAA regionals, and how does that kind of relate to moving forward and getting them just prepared in general?
Yeah, I think it's huge, and I think you can kind of draw from last year. Like, this is the time of the year that Maya Perez really came out and really started to understand what it was like to play at this level. And so my anticipation is there's going to be somebody that got some at-bats today that, has been in and out of our lineup that we're going to look at next year and be able to talk about the Maya Perez effect, right, and who that person is. So it's huge for us. It's huge for them to get in. They're nervous, which is good. That means it matters to them. And so, I think this one sitting next to me might have been a little nervous today. But all of that is good. The more you get to have those reps, the better you're going to be. And so you just have to get your focus into how do I execute in that moment. So I think it's going to be huge for us, and I think it's going to help catapult us next year.
Coach, kind of looking ahead to Liberty, what are you expecting from that matchup tomorrow, and like what makes them a good team?
Yeah, well, Dot Richardson's their coach. I think they're gritty. I think they swing hard. They've got some pop in their lineup. They've got some kids from Power 5 schools that have transferred in. They have a kid, I think, that has 48 maybe stolen bases, so they've got some speed. So there's a lot of pieces that I think that they have. So it's going to be important for us to, keep that speed off the base and then obviously be able to execute what we need to do in the box.
The last one for Sydney. How does it kind of feel as a freshman getting your, although you didn't complete the no-hitter and complete the game, how does it feel getting that close, just as a freshman, newcomer here?
It's great. Just making sure not to make anything too big out of it and just, like she said, executing everything and taking everything I've been working out into the bullpen out to the field. So.
Hey, also, this can be a little bit of a free-for-all. To a softball novice, an 18-0 win looks really easy, and I think for some people it could be considered, wow, they're reaching their full potential. But how do you make sure that energy is still up? You still play your best, even though you may slip and fall along the way and play maybe down to someone's level.
I think that's my job as their leader, to be honest with you. They know what my expectation is. They know every day when we come to practice. We do not accept mediocrity here, and there might be some times where we blunder, right? We have a flunder, we make mistakes, but you don't come and play here for me if you think that that's going to be acceptable here. So I think they know my personality. I wake up competitive. That's like how I am wired, and so that's why these players in this program, and I think it's gotten more and more as I've been here because we get more players like me that kind of fit into our system here, that understand that it doesn't really matter what's going on. Like, how do you fight for that next pitch? Even if I make a mistake, like, what does that look like? How do I respond? And I think they just do a tremendous job of just understanding what it takes to be at this level every single day. I talk a lot. Yeah. This is the stuff that I'm passionate about, though. That piece. Yeah.
For Amari, just obviously this is the first game, but putting up 18 runs, what kind of statement does this make? I know it's just the first game of the regional, but what kind of statement does it make for A&M?
I think it's a big statement for us. I think it shows that we can be consistent 1 through 9, and I think it shows that even if somebody's having their worst day, we have some of the best hitters in front, behind, that will easily pick us up and kind of carry us throughout a game. So I think it shows consistency, and it shows that even if we're down, we can be easily picked up.
Starting with Coach and then maybe just kind of going down the line. Obviously, #1 overall seed. I'm sure you had plenty of confidence going into this regional, but could you even have expected kind of an 18-0 win like this? Like, what's the mindset going into that?
Yeah, I don't ever have predictions or like goals or anything. I'm very in the moment. So I thought we executed our game plan how I expected us to. I think there was a couple of things that we still could have tweaked a little bit, if I'm being honest. But I think that's how I expect us to play. Like, there is a way that when we take the field, that we should be playing, and I think that we did that today.
Just treat every team the same, and we have the expectations, and continue having the expectations.
Yeah, she always says don't play the name game. It doesn't really matter who's on the other side. We have to be consistent within ourselves, and at the end of the day, we'll live with the results, but as long as we do that, we'll be fine.
Mari, you mentioned earlier that the home run has just kind of been a new thing that came up this year. Where did that come from? Can you pinpoint something that's become a part of your game this year?
I'm going to be honest, I really don't know. I think I've just tried to stay more constant in having a routine when I go up to bat, and that's kind of helped me pick certain pitches and looking back on film and seeing what I do in certain at-bats and stuff. So I think just consistency and looking for good pitches has kind of just been my MO, and then the power comes with it. So.
And then Sydney, I don't know if on pre-season you were able to face Amari. If you are, what kind of hitter? How challenging is it to go against her?
We all hate facing her.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Every time I see Amari, I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Here's Amari.
Yeah.
But it's nice to get seeing her and then being ready for everyone else. So.
Sydney, Coach mentioned a little bit maybe of nerves. You walk the batter in the second. Coach comes out. You hit a batter. Girl strikes out on a pitch outside the strike zone. So just at that point, was it maybe a little bit of nerves? Or I know she's gone out to you before early in games. So what about that second inning?
It was just more about resetting and remembering everything that I need to do and not to overthink everything. So.
Okay, we got anything else? One more.
Coach, how much of an advantage is it to get a win like this going into tomorrow? You know, you got to play basically all your players get backups get reps in. How much of an advantage is that going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it can be an advantage, but I think really it was we got to win game one and then go to game two. And so for me, it's like a check mark, if that makes sense, you know, of just like check, boom. And what are some things that I can address with the team? You know, I'm going to watch film tonight, obviously. Like some things that we can tweak? What are some things that we have to execute against Liberty? I think that's a really, really good team. And so what do we need to do in order for us to get our second check mark? Mm-hmm.